said you can bury the workman, but the work will go on. You can silence the voices, but you can't stop the song.
Welcome to Wheeling the Pathways of Life Unplugged with your host, Brain Fitzpatrick. Wheeling the Pathways of Life Unplugged is a snapshot of the day-to-day experiences of disabled individuals as they navigate the world around us. We wish to shed light and open your eyes on a new perspective of people with disabilities. And by going unplugged, we can discuss viewpoints we hope will challenge our viewers' points of view. Most of us have disabilities we must live with, but what defines us is the way we deal with them. And now, here's your host, Brain Fitzpatrick.
Good afternoon, folks. This is Brain Fitzpatrick bringing you an episode of Wheeling the Pathways of Life. Today, I kind of want to talk about some of the things that I'm working on and how I'm bringing the show full circle back to the way it was intended to be. I am disabled, obviously, but I deal with one particular agency, which is United Cerebral Palsy, but there are many agencies out there for people to deal with. And one of those agencies is the Center of the AdLib Center for Independent Living. And what we'll be doing in not too long is we'll be doing a series of shows with them. But today I wanted to give you a little bit about what it is AdLib does. They handle the PCA program. They are the administrators in Pittsfield for the PCA program, Personal Care Attendant program. And what they do is they send a nurse out once a year, and they kind of evaluate to see what kind of hours we need to have, and how many hours we need for the day to do what we do, and how much physical help we need during the day. So that kind of tells them how many hours during the week I need. And they do a lot of other stuff, like they do, they do a lot of social events. They do a lot of self-advocacy, like UCP does. There's multiple different agencies. Basically what I'm saying is, it's not just one particular agency that does everything. It's a whole We agencies need to work together to provide these services. And yes, we may like one particular agency, but if we don't work together, nothing is done. Like, we've got the BRTA for transportation, Berkshire Regional Transit Authority, UCP for some work, AdLib for some, and then you got BARC for others. BARC is more residential placement for more physically challenged people. But we all work together as a team to provide services to everybody that's disabled. And I want to remind people, when I say disabled, everybody needs a helping hand in some way, shape, or form. Everybody needs a helping hand in some way, shape, or form. Even a pair of glasses is a helping hand for somebody to make life easier for them. Not all tools that we use, not all disabilities, not all tools that we use are as big a deal as the wheelchair I have. Some people just wear glasses because they have a physical challenge they need to overcome. It could be, can't drive at night because of cataracts. That's a challenge in itself, because if they want to go somewhere, they can't go somewhere at night because they can't see. That is a disability in some way, shape, or form. But it's all in what you do about it and what you focus on. Don't focus on just the disability, just the inability to do anything. Focus on what you can do instead of what you can't do. Okay? Focus on the work that needs to be done, that you can do for yourself or for others. Don't focus on what you can't do, because if you can't do anything about it, why focus on it? Only focus on what you can do for yourself. Only focus on what you can control, not what you can't control. Because if you focus on what you can't control, you're wasting time on situations, you're wasting time on things you can't control when you could be doing something about things you can control. All right, and before I forget to tell everybody, next week we will not be on the air. Next week we will not be on the air because the studio's unavailable. They're doing PSA days where the people that want to have a PC, have a PSA done during the day, they can come in and do 30-second PSA to both be aired on the radio or a minute PSA to be aired on the TV. So that'll be going on next week. So we can't come into the studio to do my show. So next week we will rerun this show. So I will be back the following week with Ricardo Morales. If the schedule permits, to talk about road construction and some of the physical challenges we have because of potholes, and some of the physical challenges because of sidewalks and curb cuts, and a little bit about the crosswalks, and some of the construction things that are going on in the city. And I may talk to him. I'm going to talk to him as usual about what the city council is pushing him to do and what he wants the city council to put forward as far as his recommendation for the city council to put forward for work to be done, or his recommendations on what's more important to be done in his opinion versus what the city council wants done. And I must tell you guys, when it comes to city council meetings and differences of opinion in talking about this stuff, we can have differences of opinion, but it's how we handle those differences of opinion that matter the most. As far as what we can't control what other people think or what they want. We can only control what we can only control how we react to it. We can't control somebody asking for something that's out of our control. But we can act appropriately when the question is asked and explain to people why we can't do that or why we can do that in certain circumstances. But people need to understand one person can only do so much. We need to work together and get things done the best we can and make the city and this Commonwealth of Massachusetts or state of Massachusetts the best it can be. in the circumstances we have. And my ultimate goal for this show and in the next couple shows is to impress upon you that just because you're handicapped doesn't mean you can't be influential in what happens around here. Just because you're in a wheelchair or physical challenge. Kelsey, if you can pull out for me. As you can see, I'm in a wheelchair. Okay? The wheelchair is not in me. I'm sitting in a wheelchair to help me move around. But the wheelchair is not inside me. My brain works fine for mental acuity, and my mental thinking works fine. But my physical ability to move around is the only thing that doesn't work. Okay, Kelsey, you can come back in. One of the strongest disappointing and frustrating things for me is people automatically think because I'm in a wheelchair, my brain doesn't work as well as it should when I'm thinking. When I'm thinking about something or saying something, what I'm saying is totally off the wall. I'm crazy for thinking something. Well, because I'm in a wheelchair. The wheelchair and the disability is just skin deep. Okay. My brain is not working as well as it should, only on the physical side. It does not mean people like me are always mentally challenged. We do have of course there is mental problems that go along with conditions like mine. But our ability to think and make sense of what we're talking about is not one of them. Depression is one that is inherently it is a factor in CP cases. Depression is a factor, but it is not a factor in the way I think or in the way I get information out. It may take me a little bit longer to get information out than most people because I have to talk slower so people can understand me. If I talk slow like this, people can easily understand what I'm saying. But as I get going with some of the things I'm saying, at times and excited, it's harder for people to sometimes understand what I'm saying. And a lot of times what makes me upset is when people disregard what I'm saying because it takes a while to explain it. Even when people in the grocery store and I ask somebody a question and they hurry up because they're busy, I understand that, but you gotta take into consideration there's a physical challenge there too. So you gotta give the customer and the person you're talking to enough time to get the information out they need to get out of the question they need to ask. When we come back, I have a couple questions for you. So when we come back, I'll ask those questions. We will be right back, folks.
Letter said that you were leaving, but you did not know how long. I will never stop believing that one day you will return. Though the waiting is the hardest part of everything I do confess it's getting better, knowing I will be with you. It's all right, it's okay. I won't worry about tomorrow, for it brings me one more day closer than I was to you, closer than I was to you. Yeah, yeah. Now the question isn't will you, but what I want to know is when. If it's one day or a million, I will wait for you till then. And so I'm holding on to your word and the promises you made. So there is not one you have broken. There's not one I didn't take. It's all right, it's okay. I won't worry It's alright, it's okay. I won't worry about tomorrow, for it brings me one more day closer than I was to you, closer than I was to you, closer than I was to you. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's okay, just one more day.
Good afternoon, folks. Again, this is Brian Fitzpatrick bringing you an episode of Wheeling the Pathway to Life. And thank you, Nick Leonard from New Life Community Fellowship. That is a wonderful song. And it's true. We are one day closer to being with God, and but in the meantime, again, we all have to work together, and God does not give us situations that we can't handle. All the situations, one person can't handle all situations, but when we all work together, white, black, Hispanic, Puerto Rican, Indian, when we all work together, we get a lot more done if we just work together. We may not agree with everything, but it's okay to disagree. It's how we do it. It's how we do it. It's the reaction, the attitude of the way we disagree that is the most important thing to consider, and it's the impression that we give to other people. Because me as a Christian, I don't want to give the impression that God is not the supreme power in the and we don't want to underestimate God's abilities. We don't want to make fun of those abilities, but we want to say that we want to say as Christians, we can work together, but God is in control. We can only control the way we personally react in a given situation. And God does not give us something that we can't handle. And let me tell you a little thing that I started to tell you last week. God put me in a chair in circumstances that to this day I don't fully understand why. But at the same time, I don't know what I'd be doing if I was out of the chair. I don't think I would be doing what I'm doing right now. And that is on public access, going on Facebook, doing a show. I'd probably be out of control, running around, getting myself in trouble, doing all kinds of stuff that I shouldn't be doing. But being confined to a wheelchair gives me a direction that I believe God wants me to do. And sometimes when we're under pressure in other situations where we can't control, the situation, we accept the situation as it is and not the way we want it to be. That is sometimes the way we do our best work is when we surrender and say, okay, this is what I'm supposed to do, and do it the best way possible. Don't second guess and don't say, I could be doing this, I could be doing that. Do what you're doing, but do it to the best of your ability. And that brings me up to my last couple points before I end the show in a little bit. I got a little under half an hour, but I really want to make this point again and again, but I make it every week for a reason. Without you and without the support of the public and what people need and what people want me to know, and let me tell you, I don't just put this show together in 5 minutes before the show goes on the air. I spend at least 40, I'd say, all told, something like 50 hours a week thinking about the show and thinking about other avenues and other agencies that need help and how I can physically go there and help them and bring their mission statement to you and get support financially and personnel-wise, the support they need to continue to do what they do. And, you know, I wouldn't trade it for the world. I would not. If they came to me tomorrow and said, if they came to me tomorrow and said, okay, there was a way to get me out of jail, you know what I'd say? I'm giving you a second to think. What would I say? I can tell you what I'd say. I would say no. I wouldn't take any intervention to get me out of jail. Why? Because this is the way God wants me to be. If God wanted me out of jail, He wouldn't put me in the situation that He put me in, or working with the people that I work with, and becoming friends with the people that I have. How many people can say they're on the first name basis with the mayor of Pittsfield? How many people can say they know just about every police officer in the city of Pittsfield? And it's not just because they get in trouble. It's because people care about other people. And sometimes when you're running around doing day-to-day and day-to-day stuff, you don't realize that. Or you take that for granted because you're so busy. Me, in a wheelchair, I kind of have time to sit and think, how lucky am I to know the people that I know? And how lucky am I that I can come every week and do a show with you and talk to people, get my message out there, and get other people's message out there, and help other people in the two offices that I go in, at UCP, North County, and Central County. 208 West Street and 35 Current Highway in North Adams is where I go. When I'm there, week after week, usually depending on the weather. But anybody would want to go out in the weather. But it's not, I'm not alone for not wanting to do things. I'm not alone. But I don't make excuses like some able-bodied people do. Oh, I gotta get out of bed at 5:30 and go to work. Well, if people taking care of other people make excuses, oh, I don't want to get out of bed at 5 in the morning to get somebody out of bed. Well, being in a chair like I am, you go see if you can pull out again, that would be great. You tell me how I'm supposed to get out of the chair. If I can't do it myself and other people can't help me, how do you expect me to get out of the chair? How do you expect me to get out of bed in the morning to get into the chair if somebody isn't available to help me? Okay? And Gussie, you can go back and thank you. I will tell you something. Computers are great. Computers are what's putting this show on the air right now. Situations are putting this show on the air right now, like YouTube, but I'll tell you what now. In my lifetime, there is no way in heck I'm going to let a computer get me dressed, bathe me, feed me, or fill my cup up. There's no way I'm gonna do that. Because why? Even though people make mistakes, computers make more mistakes than people do. Why? Because people program computers. And computers are only good as computers are only as good as the people programming them. So if I waited for a computer to get me out of bed, it may not do it that day. So I can't get what I need to get done during the day. Because I can't get out of bed. So before people try to cut services, I understand financially you may have to, but think about that before you try to cut services. If I'm laying in bed because I can't get up and walk, I can't get up and go to the bathroom, who's going to do it if somebody's not there to do it? Now, computers can play a role in that, but they're not the answer. Cooperation, respect, and trust is the answer. And trusting that there are good people out there and there are caring people out there. There are people out there that all they care about is the money. All they care about is what they can get out of this. Is what can they do to help us? We need them to stop thinking about themselves for once. The last thing I want to hear every day is, basically every bit of money they threaten to cut. You know what we get told? Every time that somebody tells somebody else they're gonna cut this service or cut that service, okay, without replacing it or making it better. What they're basically saying and what they are saying in that statement is we as disabled people or physically or mentally challenged people, we are not important, okay? The government does not, the government in Washington does not care what we go through on a daily basis. But I guarantee you one thing, if it was their kids, their child, their wife, their grandson, they would care. They would want the best for their kids. But let me tell you something. You guys, as government officials, have the power to do something. Okay? I believe before you start cutting any services at all, the people in Congress and the people in state government should not get a raise, or they should not get a paycheck at all. Before you cut services on any of the public people, any of your constituents, I'd rather see you cut every bit of money you make and actually show that you care about what you do and not care about the paycheck you get. Now, I'm not saying you don't need a paycheck at all, but I am saying show an effort, or there's nothing wrong with receiving your own funding for services you need as well. You don't need multi-million-dollar cars or 10 Lamborghinis so you can get to Boston faster than everybody else. You don't need your own plane to go to Boston or whatever. You don't need 15 cars located in different areas. You can use one car and take some of that money and put it to good use rather than make your life more cushy than it already is. I understand that being in government is hard, but it's also supposed to be rewarding. You're supposed to feel good about what you do. You don't, if you're cutting people's money and taking food out of people's mouths when they don't have the money to feed themselves because the interest rates are so high, or because we can't afford medication. I have a friend, I won't tell you who it is, that has to pay over $500 every month to get one prescription. that he needs so he doesn't get a stroke. Okay? Because people don't want to take the time and figure out a way to do it. Put some of your own money that you get into reducing the cost of things. People, you don't need everything you got. Because some people don't even have a house to live in right now. So many people on the street right now because they can't afford housing. And there's so much money that is being wasted because of what you guys are allowing in the government. And I'm sorry, but that frustrates the heck out of me when I try to get a wheelchair that costs $25,000 when I can get the parts for the wheelchair at Home Depot for the most part. But I can't get it from Home Depot because it's a medical device and it has to go through a medical facility. Does that make any sense to you? It sure doesn't to me. So, what I'm asking you guys to do, if you would, tell me your difficulties if you're disabled, or your physical challenge, or your mentally challenged, or even the agencies out there that need my help and don't feel like actually saying what I just did and being willing to continue to say what I just did. You can get a hold of me at Wheeling the Pathway to Life at gmail.com, and I will get in touch with you, or you can get in touch with me, and we can set up an appointment. We can talk about what it is you need me to do, both on the show and physically, individually, for you as a person. Because remember, we're all in this together, and I will do everything I can, and my team, if I get a control room, will do everything they can, and the team here at Pittsfield Community Television has given me the greatest platform and given me the strength and the ability to get out here and say what I just did to you. Even though it's a bit harsh, it needed to be said. And I will continue to tell you the truth and to say what I think needs to happen. And some politicians may not like what I have to say, or may not understand me. But if you don't understand what I'm saying, I am not the only one saying this. So pay attention. Don't pay attention to what the other side is saying. Pay attention to the people that are put you in office, or because the people that put put the government together. Us as human beings and us as constituents can also take you guys out of office just as fast as we can put you in there. It may not be as easily federally, but as far as statewide, and if we don't like what we're seeing, we can vote you guys out. And I will stand and advocate for the disabled and physically challenged and other people. What's right is right, and what's wrong is wrong. And as long as I'm not violating what the good Lord puts on my heart or what's in the Bible, I'm going to continue to say what I say. And frankly, I don't give a darn what anybody says about it. As long as I'm not violating people's rights and violating people making decisions for themselves or violating what Jesus said in the Bible, I'm going to continue to say my truth, my reality. And with that, folks, I will see you in 2 weeks. With that, folks, we will be rerunning this show next week. And I will see you in 2 weeks. Have a good afternoon, folks.
Can bury the workman, but the work will go on. You can silence the voices, but you can't stop the song. 'Cause when the spirits move, and His will be done. You can bury the workman, but the work will